I think for me, unaona vile mimi usimama nikicheza drums. Sasa nilisimama kiti ikaanguka.
Oi.
Yo.
Nadhani hakuna mtu.
I think one of the singers so before niambia hakuna kiti. Nilikuwa naanza kudescend. Lele kabisa. I went. It was content for like a week. Karibu niende Church of Loves. I thank God that video kupatikana. I was like, yo, ilo comment wapi? I don't like DW. There's a Tama that resides at Rock Tabernacle. Oh my God, I've never played that drum kit. But I'm like, God, that one day I get my hands on that drum. I think I'll post content for a month non-stop, even if it's the same video. Guys, I love Tama with my life.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Watumishi Podcast. And as you all know, Watumishi Podcast is the home of inspirational conversations. I'm your host. You can call me Garvillo. Music is my name. As our Watumishi Podcast, you're able to advertise events, concerts, or any other thing that you might be doing within your space. So you can be able to get in touch with us through watumishipodcast@gmail.com. We are present in our social media handles, basically YouTube, Spotify, TikTok, Instagram as Watumishi Podcast. So you can be able to get there and just get the conversations of the different people we've had on the pod, get the different insights that we've been able to have with the different personalities that we bring on board. So today is a good day. We're privileged and honored to have the one and only who is a musician, he's a professional drummer, he's a bass, he's a pianist, he's an arranger, he's a music director. This is none other than Loco. Welcome to the pod. It's a pleasure and an honor to have you on the pod.
Thank you.
Yeah, and maybe just want to first, I can recap maybe where your name passed. I believe we were hosting, it was Moise Basenza. And the term that came out was excellence. And by excellence, he said there is one guy who is he's excellent in all that he plays. We were talking about musicians and diversity, and your name came up.
Kuna kijana kanaitwa Loco. Loco. Sio anacheza drums pia. Ya sio Loco mkubwa, ako na kaboys kake kadogo. Kaka kijana kanaweza cheza bass vizuri, kanaweza chikilia keys vizuri, kanacheza drums poa. Those are gifts. No. Those are gifts. Lakini ikikuwa hizi za ukiona gitaa nataka hii instrument unakimbia. Ukiona keyboard juu ya tama unataka kufanya vitu mingi, then unajipata at the end of the day there is nothing, you know. Nona unajua vitu mingi but hujui kitu.
So it means for Moise to also get to your name, it means you must also be doing a very good job indeed. And as I was passing through your social media platform, I saw this caption that says, "In the world but not of the world." Wow, that was indeed caught my eyes. Maybe I just said I'll ask. Where did that caption come from? What was the inspiration behind it?
In the world, not of it. I mean, I'm born again.
Yeah.
I acknowledge Christ as someone who saved me.
Yeah.
Because you see, music is like a national language. It's always there. So like we play music, but our music doesn't define us. Because like ideally, for us it's music, but like of course there are genres you play that aren't particularly I want to say gospel, not the air quotes. So I like the music is just like a way of expression, but ideally mine is just to like it's more of my form of worship and all those things. And it's not just particularly about music. It's just, you know, we're not bound by what like would bind someone or like here on earth, because like our risen king, like you see, like death is like that final place someone could ever get to. Yeah, but you see now ours went beyond it. So we're just in the world, but we're not like bound by its systems and all those things.
Amazing. So in case maybe I wish to know, I believe it's on your social media platform is Loco JR. Loco JR. So JR I presume is junior or something. Yes. So it means there has to be a senior.
Yes, a senior.
Okay. So maybe just want to get to your biodata, maybe just know where you were born from, how did you grow up. Maybe we can be able now to collect the different aspects and be able to get to who you are today. So maybe where were you born and how did you grow up?
This is before my music.
Yes.
Okay. I believe this includes like date and everything.
Yes.
I was born in 2004, 20th November, around 1 a.m.
Unajuaje na huko? Okay.
I'm a child of the night. This is Pumwani, maternity. To Lydia and Richard, who is
amazing.
half South African, Tanzanian. My mom is Meru. Grew up in like Ushago-ish, because Kikuyu and Gige sides. I've studied around that place. Did my primary, post-primary, like class 8 in Kikuyu, a place called Farasilin. Then high school in Aquinas, Eastlands. Currently at ZTech, I'm doing like computer science, cyber security and all those things. Reside sasa nilikuja sasa kwa comrade Juneshi Kasa.
Okay.
Yeah, I have 2 brothers. Of course, the senior Jr.Loco, the phenomenal Jr.Loco. I take pride in my brother because I think, were it not for Jack, I wouldn't have been this deep. Ningekuwa naimba, because I used to work with my mom a lot. My mom is a singer. So I would have become a singer because I used to sing. But then now, getting close to my brothers as growing up, he opened my eyes to this whole new world of instruments.
Wow.
And because Kitambo used to call myself Gidi Richie. It was really new. But when I got to see what Jack is doing, like when he's like was with Roak and Masika back then, I was like, wow. So I took it for myself and I became his junior, and he walked me through it. He showed me the ropes and all those things. So I carry his name proudly around.
Doing that.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Amazing. Maybe in those periods of primary and secondary, where did music get into your beat, or when did you break into music? And maybe as you explain that also, is there a genealogy within maybe your parents, someone who plays music and all that?
Yes. When did I start music? I tend to think even before I was born. I think we all did. Because we used to, my mom used to kick a lot. Jack Mo, of course. But my dad is a producer. My dad is a guitarist, a pianist. My mom is a drummer.
Hey.
Well, not like more of a singer, but she can also play drums. Atashikilia groove na utafeel hakuna mse achili drums. But like I said, I began as a singer. A very nice alto, actually. That is in 2013, 2014. I digressed I want to say digress because I'm more of a singer into playing instruments in 2018. This is around when I was in class 8. Is when like there was a gap. I think most of these things arise because there's a niche. Like there's a space that hasn't been covered. And I realized that our youth church, by then I was in Sitam Parklands, had a shortage of drummers. And so I started playing, like after service, you go and disturb the sound guy up until he gives you sticks, or else you say him to your mom because your mom is his friend, like something like that. And I'd go make noise for like a while, up until at some point it began to make sense, because I was never taught. It began to make sense after a while. Nikaanza kucheza DVBS, those Masitam conferences out there. DVBS, one Sunday when the children are leading, all those things. So eventually I picked it up because like the ladies found it interesting. Yeah. I used to do it particularly to get that attention. But you see, as much as I was getting attention, I was also growing without my knowledge. So I joined high school and I became... Sasa shuleni ilikuwa, there was no drums, unfortunately. So I had to learn the keyboard again because of the niche. The other guy that was playing was in Form 4 and he was leaving. So the difference hapo ilikuwa very big because I was in Form 1. So I had to learn. I did like transposing. So I had to learn every key from scratch and all those things. So I became over pianist in high school up until Corona happened. This is when I was in Form 2. And now I was at home and again another niche popped up. There was a local church that was doing like live services without a bassist. So what did I learn? I learned bass online, of course, just YouTube videos, how to play and all those things. So after a while, another church came up. Then we did like an online service drama. So it went. So like all these things I know how to play, I got to know because there was a niche. That I had to fill. So like that, just practicing, getting like by then I was just doing for the assignment, like knowing for that particular assignment. But looking back at the end of the year, I'm like, wow, I know how to play a buttload of instruments because because I even learned how to play lead at some point. I can't play lead on a gig. No one's really post kitu nikisha, but I can play lead. 7 mostly, of course.
Unachuna.
There's a tuna bede. Za kuchunia 7 usikie poa. But yeah. That's why music came in, of course. Going back to school, I had to go back to being more of a pianist because I know drums and all those things. But after Form 4, now I decided to like take one ndio nisikue half cooked kwa kila kitu. At least kuna moja najua.
At least uko refined hiyo, uko sure hiyo ni kitu hiyo si
I can't choma. So I chose drums. By then I had moved to Sitam Kiambu Road. So it wasn't as busy as Sitam Parklands. So I used to be in church like every day, just practicing my chops, practicing all these things. And then you see all the instruments were there. It's like Monday, Tuesday, I do like drums. Wednesday, I do piano. Friday, I do bass guitar. And likewise, every other week, because I wasn't gigging, I wasn't in school. I was just...
You have the time to perfect on every niche that you want to.
So finally, when now these opportunities began arising, and I show up, I am... somewhat prepared because so now the rest is now you learn on the ground because you're like I observe a lot when I'm playing. I don't just listen to the drums, I listen to Msewa keys, I listen to the guy, I even listen to the harmonies, so that when it comes you'd sing something like, okay, that's not the harmony, this is the harmony, that's not the bass line, this is the bass line, that's not this, it's kusi.
It's the whole package now. You understand every aspect that you'll be at least in point. Amazing. So, I've heard you've mentioned so many instruments. So, umecheza keyboard, umecheza drum, umecheza guitar. I believe umecheza instruments zote, umecheza bass. Okay. Wow. Such a good catalog that you have there. And basically, across your learning of instruments, some of them or all of them you've learned through practicality, or some of them you learned through theoretical kind of setting, hands-on, all of them. Oh, amazing. So it means it's possible. Watu wasijifunge kwa lock.
This is kwa music class. Ati nimelipa do na sijai unless nile what did you just play? I just break it down. That ndio sema it's the only thing, but
oh wow, amazing. Now being that you play so many instruments, I believe now I believe maybe they are your favorite. What is your favorite in terms of drums? Any day. So I'm believing like you need to have a balance because instruments mingi pay, it means that the time that you also invest in them for you to be able to be fine is indeed quite a lot. How do you structure yourself in the terms of that?
Here's the most interesting part. I don't know. Because like I feel it would be weird to have a timetable because it's like instrument ni kadem. I have a bass guitar, 4-string TRB. Ya kitambo, her name is Princess. So I feel like, and then I have an acoustic guitar whose name is Wanja. So I feel like choosing a day to practice between Chela. What's Chela? Wanja ni vile mseli nipa nitwa Chela. So like practicing between Wanja and Princess. nikaa kucheat, nikaa kupanga nacheza nani lini, unaget. So like I don't really know. I just, like I said, I practice on assignment. Nika pay as you order. Nikisikia kuna gig mahali santa tizi hiyo instrument up to that gig time, and by the time the gig is ending I have the knowledge. Kitu mimi tizimoni drums like every day at like nilijitengenezea ka drum pad kwa nyumba. Nikata wardrobe ilikuwa imeharibika, nikatoa kitu nikaweka kinguo juu nika cover, so nika drum pad natumianga ku practice rudiments. It's the only thing I practice every day. But there are days I didn't even want to see my guitar. I'd go to church and play keyboard the whole day. The other day I'd want to practice my bass. The other day I want to practice my acoustic. The other day my dad has a lead guitar. Nadunga po effect na masikio nacheza. So like it's just basically what I'm feeling. Nikijisikia literally. I feel like being too organized would mean like once you don't do it you become discouraged. So sijipangangi. I just okay, leo naamka na feel kigloa. Ndachukua gitaa nicheze 4 hours. Nikiamka the next day na feel kijacob kolia, nitaenda pale sit up nicheze keys hadi nichoke. The next day I wake up feeling like amani baya, nitacheza hiyo drum pad hadi nitan pink mikono. The other day I feel like waking, Moise Basinza, I'll take my bass and listen to his videos and I'll play.
Amazing. Your structure pia ni noma, but it really makes sense in terms of how to embody the different instruments. Maybe which music did you grow up listening to?
7.
I
think nimependa, you see even what like the flag I'm wearing, like I Jack used to play for Pastor Solomon Sila. Still does. Pastor Solo back then used to light samahani mlimi hauna mfupa. But like he used to write a lot of 7. And I got to listen to Kalambai and Bakenda Michelle. These guys like I'm particularly drawn to guitars. Ni vile sipendi kucheza but napenda kuisikia. So I listened to this thing Pastor Solo did in a Fleo 2014. Na kina Amani Moise Pigieni, the first one with Moise doing those nilipenda tu 7 from there. I asked Jackie genre gani, akaniambia that is 7. I was in class 8. I'm like, wow, this is really good music. Then I think Mungu alikuwa anajua tu sitampaki by any chance. It was that time wa Congo walikuwa tu wanakam to Kenya in wingi. So the current Gloa Maene from ICC Nairobi, ule bassist Wanyasha, ndo alikuwa ameenda sitampaki. Another guy called Chi, another guy called Leons, I think Saddam and Answer MB walikuwa sitampaki wote. So they'd listen to me play and they'd be so frustrated because wamesikia 7 ya Congo and they're like, that's not 7, play it like this. So I grew up already having a touch of 7 ya Congo. Bidha you kisikia nikiza 7 like audio peke, you'd even ask, is that Sabu? Is that who's this drummer, like who drummer alicheza Shusha? Delfa. 7, like my 7 sounds really Congolese because I was taught by them themselves. Cheza hapa, shika stick hivi, roll hivi, those things. So I grew up listening to a lot of 7. But it wrecked me at some point because unajua sasa Mkongo akicheza 7 acheze worship. So you get ata roll, ata chukotio feel aipeleke pale. So I had to start listening to like other very complicated genres. Of course Jack was very instrumental, which is why he introduced me to people like Anika Niles, people like Moonchild, lo-fi, like Caribbean melodies, so that I like my diversity. Missy sound too heavy, like you become diverse. So like when you're playing a genre, it sounds like that genre.
Amazing indeed. Maybe as you've mentioned, Jack is one of them, and maybe who are the other people who have influenced your instrument playing? in terms of growth? Also wamekuchallenge tu basically, wamefanya uko lazima ni up game.
Sisi hapo tutaenda instrument by instrument.
Yeah, you can go instrument by instrument.
Drums. Jack, of course, na kwanza. Another guy called Harry. Hamumjui, is the guy I used to be in class with, but he went to the States to study. So alikuja ameiva. Hey, so me I'm learning like kick right left on YouTube. Harry knows all the rudiments there is to know. So he used to play them on his locker, and I'm like, bro. So I got really frustrated, and I went to practice a lot. So
Wow.
Like people like I personally know, or even those that I don't know.
Yeah, even those that you don't know.
There's this kid on Instagram called Justin Lee. Shuka unamjua? Justin plays guitars and keyboards. He has a sister that plays drum. The whole family. Look him up. It's called Justin. Or like, really, if you want to think you're good, fungua to Instagram. You'll see a Chinese kid who is 8 years old that can play everything and probably better than you. So I used to look at his videos a lot. That was the time I got to know Eric Moore. I got to know J. Rod Sullivan. I got to know Styx Taylor. I got to know Kina Matt Ramsey and Kina Tony. So it's like, hey, hizi ni nini? What are these? Around that time, Mani Snare Drum was very, very alikuwa huko. The likes of Kibamba, the likes of
Kibamba.
The likes ilikuwa era ya Sage the Drama, era ya Akinyi. But before Akinyi, sasa engaged. Back then, Akinyi was on like every platform. Ilikuwa era ya of course Amani Baya, who era yake Joisha. So I used to look at those guys a lot, and I get content. But if there's someone I have listened to, even my chops, there's a guy called Orlando Drama. Literally, he's called Adam Tuminaro. Most of ukisikiza nikicheza drums, I shared a lot with triplet fields. 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3. I learned from the guy. Most of them zilitoka hapo. For piano, sijui kuwa na pressure ya kucheza keyboard, but I used to look at this site called Piano Pig. He's a like German British guy on YouTube. So he does he breaks down jazz movements. Mimi nazitafuta. Alafu natafuta mse wa church, nimwambia I can play this. How do I ingiza it kwa worship music? So he introduced me to another guy called Easy Worship. So he takes those fills and then puts them in worship. So ikaanza kunini kuzi play pole pole. Sana zila non C, alafu na translate pole pole every key until nishike. For bass, it just has to be Moiz. Sijiskiza bassist mwingine that much. Hadi back then kutoka ni msek cheza pigeni bwana. I've been listening to him ever since. Hey, say God. Like literally say God, because now work na yeye side anasikianga poa sana. Lead ni babangu, because my dad plays lead guitar anichezeanga hadi hapa. So I'm like, why? Particularly so I think my growth is like the people around me na watu sasa now like the people I look up to pale kwa beyond the fourth wall. Like YouTube, Instagram, but then I wasn't really active on Instagram, so mostly YouTube.
It's but it means also you have a big catalog. Even those people you mentioned, it means imagine mtu ameconsume maybe for the longest, then pia unaikuja unaipata pia bado una expound on your things. It means it really builds your vocabulary in terms of what you're able to do. So which year did you kick off your professional playing? Which was the year you kicked off?
Last year, because last year is when I found myself on so many platforms. Like there's a shindo ku count, because I tend to think 2023 was a year of practice, a year of just like kukulima kunini.
You're building on the nini kabisa.
I wasn't I wouldn't have found pictured myself in a podcast. Yeah, because it's like I was only playing at the local church to sit on Kiambu Road. but I tend to think my MD always knew I was like always going to leave or like destined for more, because I would learn this new chord or this new progression or this turnaround. Ningeiweka church na kama mtaicheza, kama mtaiimba vile naitaka, tutasumbua. So like I'd tell them during recaps, I was made an MD at a very, because I'm like 20 right now. By then I was like 18, and I'm pashaing guys who are 30. Cheki, this is the chord, you have to sing this. And I'm so stunned with them. Me baby.
Ni hivi kama si hivi tuache tu basi tuende nyumbani.
Mtafute pianist mwingine, mimi naenda home. And like I'd really challenge them, and I'm wondering, why am I challenging all the people? So it hit me that I was in a place of growth, and my growth is out. I don't say outgrowing that place, but my growth is getting to like a terminus or terminal. So at some November, I think 2023, I got introduced to ICC Mara, where I'm currently serving, by a guy called Director James. You know James movie? Drama orchestra.
Director James,
yeah. So he DM'd me on Gram and be like, bro, niaje, I'm supposed to play at ICC, but isiko, can I send you there? Like, sure. But then nilikuwa na Katululu. So I was like, chatting on my mom's phone. And I went and I met Pastor Steve and a guy called Fadhili. Fadhili is the ox to Wakestin. Hey, and they asked, are you serving anywhere? And I'm like, yes, but I wouldn't mind. Because I saw the standard at ICC. They have in-ears, they have big stage. And it's, the things that excite me. A very nice drum inside a cage, talkback mics, stems, loop tracks, the things that I just, wow, nikiona hizi vitu nasikia poa. I was like, I wouldn't mind moving. So I worked with Fadhili for a while. I still am really showing me, okay, you can play all these things. So this is how to use them in a professional setup. Don't play this everywhere. Play this instead. Pastor Steve is just like, and then they used to correct with so much love, so much like, I felt appreciated, and it like skyrocketed my growth. Because now they give me people like Kestin. By the way, I got to know Kestin through. Ideally, nilikuwa churches ya Kestin before at some conference, and she's like, okay, unacheza fiti. So kuniona church ako like, you're here. Nice. So ndo sasa tukaendelea kunini, she's like calling me for her missions when Jemo is not around, and eventually now became a full like on drama for Kestin. This is last year. It's also where I met Pastor James from Sounds of Worship.
Okay.
Because he saw me play and he's like, mbona kajak? He's working jack before, and I'm like, I'm his younger brother. Like, nice. Around that time, Sounds of Worship was doing a collabo concert with ICC Mara. Around the same time, they were auditioning for a new band. So I auditioned with Moise. That time Moise was joining Sounds of Worship, and we auditioned together, and we, by God's grace, nikaweza kujoin Sounds of Worship. So hao ndo walinipeleka Rema Feast. The same year nikacheza bado Fleo. Same year nikacheza live recording ya Pastor Solo, another guy called Dan. The other artist nikakwambia sikumbuki. And like so many other things. So I don't say last year particularly. So many this whole bank of things began to happen. Of course, I thank God, because I tell you the truth, I wouldn't have pictured myself the very previous year. I wouldn't have said, Kai,
by nini nitakuwa hapo.
Because I wanted to play those platforms. I genuinely did. I had this book when I was in high school. I want to serve at City Lighters. And I began just ticking moja. I was like, guy. And like at Sarge, because I think I was one of the youngest guys to ever play a flute. Me and my best friend, it's called Wema. Hey, no, that's another one. Hey, guy. Have you heard Wema play keyboard?
Wema I've heard. Taka tumtafute kwanza. I need to search for Wema. That
guy has. Mimi sasa kama kuna msanifanyanga pianga pressure practice keyboard ni that guy. Ebu tell me why CC has plain white keys. Tell me why he's holding a 1 with an E flat and an F sharp. And it doesn't sound off. So you're there like, where is that 1? He's like, yes, it's 1. Play C. He's playing C, but it has a C. Like, so unaget na his sound iko off, so I'm like bro we grew up with him. Wewe unaenda gig unalipwa 300 mnaingia klabu mnakula mnaenda, but like you see we're in it for the exposure and all those things. Till right now we're playing with like big honestly big names. Nilisikia poa sana kumwona pia Fleo, because like I love the bond we have. He's helped me grow, and we want mimi nachana na muziki wa like hadi like no please come back and all these things. Tumecheza university na yeye and all. So tuseme tu ni last year particularly, and even for Emma
grow hivyo
pamoja.
Wow, amazing. Which genre basically tickled your fancy, or which genre ile yenye ukiamka tu asubuhi unasema ina feel tu nicheza muziki ya hii type?
Seven any day anytime. I tend to think kwetu kuna mkongo. I am sure nikiangalia dad by then in South Africa, but huyo nikichunguza kuna mkongo, kuna Basinza, kuna Mbie, kuna yani kuna Jonathan mahali, because I don't know, tell me why. Mazi I love Kai, napenda Seben. Naonanga set list Kai na Seben, naweza hadi toka hiyo gig. Like
niwekea moja tu tafadhali.
Just one or at least an interlude. Isikie tu gitaa imelia. Isikie poa bali.
Amazing. I want to capture you as a drummer, and maybe just want to get a few nuggets of maybe how much time did it take you to solidify your drum skill, if you can be able to remember, in terms of maybe at the point sasa unasema sahi at least nasikia hizi vitu nacheza ziko fit?
Well, like you've had, my growth has been intermittent. Naanza naacha.
Oh yeah, okay.
But nili solidify drumming yangu in 2023. Like most of the things, of course I don't feel I am there yet. In fact, I'm very far from it. Ni vile tu sasa bado niche.
Sorry.
Kuna places nafaa kukua. But tunaendelea ku grow. But at 23 when I start, because I was really like need good with like grooves, because of like you see, not the thing with sitam, I love sitam will expose you to every genre. I like playing in a church in rural where you play only kegosho. Ukienda ndani sana cha like urban, you only play CCM. Sitam has stricken that balance. One day it will give you kegosho, another day CCM, another day seven, another day reggae. So you get to learn all these genres.
Yeah, true.
Unazitake in. So I think the tricky part would now be getting a touch or feel and being fancy about it. There's a reason not just any drama would be called. There's a reason they like true, Dante
true.
or Mani. These guys are pomp. When you hear Dante play, this guy, okay, probably you'll get his POV. But I particularly like one guy. It's called Zach Alpha. When I'm chopping, I chop a lot. I approach it how Alpha would, because he's a drummer I found to be very, I want to say, peculiar. Alpha's playing is so alpha. It looks like him. When Alpha is playing, you can literally say, oof, that's Alpha. Or even Jack, really. So I sat down with myself and I'm like, I want to sound like this.
Yeah.
I want to sound like
full and sound.
I want to sound
I want vitu zitoke vile zinafaa zitoke.
It comes down to how you build the song, how you approach drum fields, how you approach an arrangement, what you do when you're given a solo. Sasa hapo sasa I just borrow Jack from Jack's book. Since Jack cheza atasimama tu. Hakuna sidhani set kubwa Jack hatasimama and all these things. So I took that from him. I'll stand up and I'll talk to the crowd and I got that from Jack. This super fast 64 note fields I got from Alpha. It's like a blend really of both of them to form my sound. Of course with addition from guys of like Kina Brolin and Dante. So like my sound really is like a blend of many guys I just bring together, but mostly Jack and Zach really, because they're the guys that I've listened to most. to nini
to their art and their wamekujenga. So maybe just to know, what are those essential points that there are need to know for a drama? Maybe mtu akona interest or someone who was already started, maybe wants now to get the intermediate level. What are those need to know moments or need to know points for them to be able to also upscale as per your growth? Because also I believe you've seen quite a bit in terms of how you've grown.
The mistake I hear, let me start with the mistake. Chops are dangerous. Like if you invest too much in seasoning, the food becomes too spicy, too hot, to make the food. The food is the groove.
Yeah,
I got this from a guy called Tolbert. I was playing at YT. He said, if a groove, you'd rather play groove the whole song, but at least the song has a shape. Then ideally, eka nyanya kidogo, kitungu, roiko, those are chops, fields. So say like funk. You'd rather play that the whole song. It's on ka loop track. Kuliko utoke kwa time urudi.
It's quite destructive tena. Ni kama jani. So ni build kwa hiyo jani.
Build kwa ni kama conversation. Like unaanza ushaanza Maze, she broke my heart. Nani. Hi man, I met this lady. Her name is. We went out for a few dates, and then now she. You see, like build it like a conversation and all those things. Like these guys, God tells them that's going to, and then they walk up to the lady. God told me you're going to be my wife. If I was the lady, personally I'd freak out.
Yeah, true.
Like what? See, at least tell me your name first. Like okay. I'd urge dramas, especially young ones like myself, who'd want, because they think the only thing that will make you be hard is chops. It's very dangerous. I got even from Moise himself. Cheza groove. Because unajua uchezi peke yako. If you're playing to a shared track, cheza zote. And in fact, chop from zero to end.
Yeah, true.
Tutakukubali ni shared track. But when you're playing with people, because I also play bass, I also play other things. If I'm playing with a drummer, I'd want you to play groove as much as possible. And I had to understand that to get now to a place where naweza cheza set na mtu kama Moise na hata complain. Because those guys, nakwambia Glower ataona mistake before it happen. Like ataona tu unaenda kumess up. Because you said Sons of Worship, I have guys like Laktari, Blessing, oh my God. Blessing will see your mistake before you make it. Because you see, ushefika na kipo. Blessing ukapale, drums iko hapa. So you just make a mistake of looking. He'll be like, unaenda kumistake na utachoma. He'll stop the loop track. Wewe. Ni hivi. So like, unaget. So he said, to avoid all these things, kama hakuna arrangement prior to the chop, don't chop. Just play, learn as many grooves as possible. Listen to as many genres as possible, because I tend to think if you're playing church music, you listen to like 2 genres or 3. Reggae, rock na 7 na worship. Genres ni mingi by the way. Naona kina Njoki wanaandika salsa, wanaandika ballad, wanaandika nini. So like you cage yourself to genres. When you're given a different feel, it sounds like something else, and it's really tragic for someone like that.
True.
And of course, most of our guys are learning music to play in church. But for me, I don't look at it like that. You see, like today now, Moise is at Afrolect. Miss Dani kuna genre ya church inachezwa hapo. I don't think there's... So, like, you invest more in learning genres, invest more in learning, like grooves. Invest in grooves. Because really, at the end of the day, whether you sounded good or not, it's your band that compliments. It's your band that be like, okay, we have a project. Who can we call? This guy, no, he chops a lot. Who can we call? Yeah, hey, he plays well. Because ideally, I tend to think when these guys are coming, I've seen a lot of live recordings they have played. And you're like, okay, they sit down, ni panel. MD sasa tafuta watu. MD hizi tafuta mzee atakuja kumsumbua. All those things. Na kusumbua for them inakuanga 2 chops. Mingi are necessary. So I'd ask my guys to invest in, probably asking why. You see, chops, for someone who's not a musician, chops could either be cool or noise. Because there are people that are excited by sauti ya kelele and others that want to listen to the music.
Yeah, true.
For band dynamics, as a bassist nikitafuta groove. Unajua hata kama ngoma ni reggae, ukicheza 7 siwezi cheza reggae.
True.
I'll just play 7 as a drummer.
True.
If the song is worship, you decide to play rock, I will play rock because you're playing rock.
Yeah.
Really, I tend to think the band is as good as the drummer.
Yeah, true.
It doesn't matter how many chords the guy can play or like how many fields you can. If the drummer isn't giving you guys what you want, the song will go nowhere. So when the bassist is happy, you guys are doing. I like what Mark and Dante do. Those guys, they're like
in sync
even
gosh,
because you'd feel like Mark Hana MD mic, Dante doesn't have an MD mic, but they'll do something that wasn't practiced and you're like, what just happened? Because wanaelewana, like there's the synchrony there, and that's something that that people don't really get. They just think me, I'm the one coming to play. You're playing with people, remember. It's a team effort. And really, if you want to keep yourself in the market, I think learn grooves, and then finally don't neglect chops, because ukipika tu mchele na chumvi itakaa tu hapo.
Hakuna mtu anataka kuikula at the end of the day.
Ongeza chumvi, ongeza nini, ongeza maragwe. Learn a chop. And then finally, when you're learning chops, know where to use them. I met a drummer some time back. I won't expose him, but amejua. Umse atalan chop moja, I post kwa FYP ama kwa story yake. Guys, I'm learning this chop. Utisikia tu Sunday. So me, I'm there. It's a slow song. I'm playing bass. 1 4 we give you all. Amecheza chop ya half time. Because you're live, you can't cringe.
True,
you have to make a lemon face and you can come messing, but you're like, bro, see. And then here's the funny thing now. I want to give you guys a hack. What you practice today, you can't use tomorrow. I kid you not. What you practice, I don't know if it's if it's anything different for anyone else, but for me, what I'm playing right now, or what I play right now, is content I began practicing last year, October. Because playing drums is like building a muscle. You don't lift 10 kgs today and lift 100 tomorrow. You walk through it.
You walk through the journey.
And it's the knowledge that you used while lifting 10 kg. Evo. So what drummers want to do, I want to practice this chop today and I want to use it tomorrow. You'll mess up. You need to take time, build with it. Toka 60 BPM and a 70 BPM. Toka 70 and a 80. Toka it time signature yake 68. Cheza hapo. Toka I think nishai enda live kwa practice session yangu gram, of course with a very horrible phone, but you could hear na change. Nilikuwa na laptop, so I'm playing it on 4/4. My favorite rudiment, kick, right left kick. It's a 6-stroke roll. Paradiddle, it's like paradiddle like right left. So that last left naeka kick, so inakuwa paradiddle D kick. So nitaicheza kwa 4/4, nieke funk, nitoke niende 6/8. I play the same thing, nitoke niende reggae, nikae naingia nitoke reggae niende salsa, so that nisiyei taka kucheza hiki kitu. And then guys are like, what? That's not right. But already I know when I'm using this thing, it's the same chop, but you would never tell it's the same chop because I have mastered how to use it in a way that it looks.
Fantastic. Maybe which genres of music have been impactful in your drum set skill?
That would be funk and hip hop. The people I was learning from, like Eric Moore, J. Royd, Calvin Rogers, Aaron Spears, mostly played funk. Funk is for those of us that are watching probably that don't know. Hip hop is any music you'd listen from Lil Wayne, Rick Ross, Eko Dida, all those guys. And particularly because chops really shine in those nini. Because unaweza pata just the drums And then the guy would do some crazy 30-second note thing going on there. And those things really excited me. So ndo ningesikiza sana. And then there's a genre called lo-fi. Jack introduced me to. Lo-fi is jazz with an upbeat. It's something. Have you heard like Agama Pecheza in Georgia? Something like that. That's lo-fi. That's lo-fi music. I'm trying to look for another nini. Stuck With You by Ariana Grande. That's also lo-fi. It's music. It's chilled music. Teaches you discipline because you can't chop in lo-fi. You just play, and then the groove is kind of a polyrhythm. So you have to just stick to it. But so I'd say lo-fi, funk, and hip hop. I guess other genres I learned again out of I want to say demand because like azikuwa na watu pasi.
Okay. So maybe for this viewer maybe mwenye anaona hii video for the first time and maybe ajue anything about drums. I wish we could have a practical drum here, but maybe what are those segments in a drum that they need to know? Nasikia kuna snares, kuna mtu anasemanga piga hiyo kitu kubwa. What are those? I believe our producer will work on attaching them as the video goes on. But maybe what are those segments that they need to really know?
Right. So tuanze hapa, a drummer is a king. Juu anakalianga throne. Anakalianga throne. Hiyo kiti bebe, hiyo kiti saa inaitwa intro throne. Hii ya white inakuanga hapa inalianga ta 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 ta. Hiyo wanasemanga like risasi inaitwa snare. This one here that the guys it's called a hi-hat. This one here is called zinakuanga 1, 2, 3 depending on what the drum. They're called rack toms. Nasikia tom 1, tom 2, tom 3 sasa zikienda hivi. This ones here zinakuanga 2, 1, mostly 2 or 1, called floor toms. Like tom, literally tom and Jerry tom. This big one is called a bass drum. The one that needs it is called a beater. That thing we step on.
Oh, it's a beater.
It's literally called a beater. Wow. So the cymbals have names too. You see those things? They have symbols. They have names. The cymbals have names. Names have symbols. Symbols have names. This one that's normally beaten here, normally they're just in a chart setting you find two. This one. But if you go to a place like a live recording, you'd find several others, small ones, others that look twisted. So this one is called a crash. This one here is called a ride, and then that thing that we hit hapa katikati inaitwa bell. Other times you'd get a trash crash, ile iko na mashimo. Then the smaller one is called a splash. The smaller, bigger one is called a china. Inakaa hivi, like it looks like a plate with edges that are slanting. It's called a china. Then you have like several cymbals put together to form a cha-cha-cha sound. It's called a stack. Then you have jingles, those two things that go like... And then now they have like sizes. You have 16 by what, I don't know, 14 by... So the size determines the kind of sound they like them.
The crisp sound that comes out of it.
The brands, personally, I like Zildjian cymbals. I like Zildjian and Mainil. But mostly utapata Sabian, ama Mess. Mess, wow. Mess. You'd find so like brand and texture. They give you all these sounds that nini. There are symbols that are really sensitive. Personally, that's why I like Zildjian. Utaguza kidogo sustain your sauti. Kuna symbols ziko dry, utachapa ishe. Hizo zinakuanga fiti for studio. This leak into this bleed into mic. So ideally that's nini. So the more pieces you have on a drum, of course, the more mobility you have to, of course, and the smaller the drum, the less pieces you have.
Okay. So you can tell me that can I like ask you if you have a specific type or can I say a company of drums that you really
Yes, I do.
which
Tama. Tama.
Tama all the way.
Tama day in, day out. Actually, I'm not a DW fan. People would... I don't like DW. There's a Tama that resides at Rock Tabernacle. Oh my God, I've never played that drum kit. But I'm like, God, that one day I get my hands on that drum. I think I'll post content for a month non-stop, even if it's the same video. Guys, I love Tama with my life. I tend to think, I don't know, kuna Tama Amani used to use a yellow kit that he played Tambarare with. That's the kit Sons of Worship has. I tend to think every time I'm on that drum, I'd rather just stop time and just stay there. I've got accustomed to the Tama sound because you see DW has really deep. DW is a really good drum, by the way. It has deep sound. It has really deep sounds and all those things. But that's not for me personally. I love Tama. I think you see if you enter a Sitam church, you'll either find a Yamaha or a Tama. So I grew up playing Tama. There was a Tama Imperial Star back at Sitam Parklands, and I got accustomed to listening to Tama.
Yeah.
So by the time I'm realizing there are other brands, me I was just like, but you guys chill. I love Tama. So every time I'm asked for my rider, always you on a drum ingine, either Tama or maybe Sona. There's the Sona SQ, I think 3. Ili a grey lichezanga. There's a grey Sona kit that plays a lot of gigs near Gig Dynamic. The one that played Sue's recording, the one the drum kit in Anatenda. Anatenda, the one JCL played. I also like that kit very much. But ideally, whether it's a small Tama, a 2-piece, a 3, as long as it's a Tama,
Uko nyumbani.
I'm happy.
Okay. Amazing. So we proceed as a bassist now. We want to get your nuggets as a bassist, and maybe also across your journey, have you grown in those instruments together? At the time you're telling me last 2023 is when you solidified. Is it true for all the instruments that you played? Oh, okay. So maybe how do you come up with your own grooves, or what's your process of creativity in terms of coming up with grooves for a bass now as a bassist?
Ingenuity is the concept I use. It's like innovation. You listen to one person and then you take that and then you make it your own in your own way.
In your own way, okay.
Because ideally, I tend to think so many things have been created. Creating one from scratch
is a bit.
It's not impossible. It's just. It's for the. I want to say for the assignment, it would be difficult.
Yeah.
Given I don't have the extensive knowledge that those that played those things do, but I will take it and I will make it my own. But for bass, it just depends on the type of song, its tempo, and how much you practice. You'll realize something. If you put your hands like this, you put it here, here, you can do that, this will have a problem. Then that, the same thing, that, then you see I can't lift this one peke yake, then the pinky. You realize that hapa kuna kuanga, I don't know ni mshipa gani na kuanga hapa. It's normally very hard to separate. Even when playing keyboard, tutafika hapo baadaye. So on this hand that's running. So when you're playing, you'll realize it's very easy to run from here to here, here to here. But when you're running from here to here, so you're playing the note either this way or that way, it's very difficult, especially at high speed. So what these bassists, Mosebas, Moise, Nick Kera, they've learned the art of separating these two things as independence. So they'll play something really fast. And if you haven't learned that, you will never get that. So that's what I do. I just, every day, I take my metronome like I'm a skio bass and I practice something called a... What's one note to another? I'm looking for that word. It's like, say, from F to F sharp. What's that? Not a semitone.
So the
chromatic. Thank you. Chromatic scale. Chromatic scale. Da 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 da. Up the string, down the string. Na songa fret forward. Like side, like 1, 2, 3, 4. Da 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 da. Na songa fret. Da 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 da. So like 10 minutes every day. So that by the time napata ngoma ilichezwa na Nick Kera, I won't play like Nick Kera, but at least nita manipulate your baseline. You feel ni kama okay, umse anajua kile anafanya. So I think for bass it's learning when like running and coordinating your speed pia huko. Because kuna techniques za kucheza bass nilirealize kuna hiyo place unachezea there are ways you play and you get different sounds. For instance, you can play chords on bass. Personally I can. I love it. Kwanza like when the song is coming down, you playing a run and then you finish with a chord. It's beautiful. It brings this. When you're playing chords, you tend like Moise said, you play closer to uku, like closer to the where the strings begin. When you're playing grooves, you play it at like over the pickup. You see like where that black thing, you play it over like just above it. When you're playing 7, you play inside the fret because 7 is like ni mziki hi-fi notes ziko sharp, notes zime ziko like nika unaguza juju. So unafaa kucheza ndani. Unaona play fret inaanza, unachezea hapo. When you're playing slap, you play inside the fret, like where the fret begins. When you're playing worship, you play over the pickup. You see, like there are ways. So you study these techniques. Of course, when you're playing reggae, you also play inside. When you can hammer as well. I say this with Moise. You play a chord, you hammer on top of it. This depends pia na guitar uko nayo. Because kuna guitars iko na action. By the time you're done with the first song, your hands are red. Anyway. So as a bassist particularly, I'd say it's just technique. How do I come up with grooves? I listen first to the original bass line. And then I'll find a way to add a pattern. Moise does that a lot. I love what Moise does with the song. He'll listen to the song and then he'll play around with it for like the first few times. And by the third time, he'll come up with a movement that is regressive. Like you'll hear it so many times in the song. And it's what makes Moise. For instance, Shusha. It's so Moise. Like you'll just tell, wow. For 7 like ni kama ni msee anaongea kwa microphone. So ana come up na melody like it's called melodic playing. You come up with something that regresses inside the song to the point where inakuwa even easy for you to play because ukijua ina shape anaenda kucheza running around it like creating a ukicheza around it is inakuwa rahisi hadi ukirun juu unajua place unaenda kuland. But now what our bassists are doing, they don't know the value of giving a song groove. But bass 1 4 1 5 6 yeah. So learn the song. I'd say the guys like learn the song, get to know the song, and then come up with a melody. Even if look like what I do. Because creating my own melody is sometimes difficult. Because I haven't been in a place where a lot of live music is being played. I'm still trusting God. But I look for a line in the song. For instance, I'm looking for a first song that has... Ebu just give me any first song inside your head.
Any first song.
Or any up-tempo song.
Tumeimba nini leo? Tumeshinda is a bit. Tumeshinda kwa jina la Yesu tumeshinda.
So he played sasa naweza sasa create groove from sliding. So una get like unatafuta tu kitu kanajirudia rudia unacheza nayo. It gives the song life,
yeah, true.
Just much as sasa hiyo utapata kana drama nitaisikia nisharudi kwa drums way but nitaisikia I'm like this is asking for toms so inakuwa una get so like una hadi unapea drama room ya kufanya vitu hiyo pattern hiyo melody inafunguanga song sana because ebu imagine if you gave a beginning guy, the song tumeshinda angeza 24165 ngoma ingesikika bado because hiyo ndo progression, but Moise would give it a flavor, so like una get two song in a bounce hadi una feel too okay
tusonge nayo.
So creating melodies, look for something hadi this song playing in my head nisemanga bwana wewe umeinuliwa, it's by Sons of Worship. So watu 1 2 3 4 2 3 4 2 5 parararara. I accent that line with them. Una get so in a like si lazima ucheze the whole song, okay? Unaweza fika mahali ukiona singer amerudia kitu sana, unamsikiza juu unajua fretboard, unaicheza na yeye. Hii kitu Moise pia anafanyanga sana ni bamba, ama Muziq buzz ama Nikera. You see there was a time Icons was ministering at is it street praise? You see that Nick alicheza like alicheza hiyo line, alitembea nayo inaanza like 176 pentatonic sasa hadi 5 alicheza. I was like yo, so like una get so una kwa a melodic basis. I think for me melodic basis would appeal more to my ear than a guy that just plays normal.
So across your bass playing, vitu gani ume put into practice zimekufanya ume develop the skill better? One of them that you mentioned is the fingering, finger independence. What are the other things maybe that someone needs to know? Maybe who is also a beginner or is in the intermediate stage that needs to know these are the things that I need to do for me to also be able to have a very smooth run in terms of knowing that. And additionally, as you've said, kuna hiyo point yenye una master the thing till sauti unajua inatokanga wapi literally. Ukishapoa tu base hata kama mtu amepigana niko ready to know. I believe that really takes time in terms of building the capacity to have equate that up. But maybe what are those points that maybe you can dash out in terms of how someone can be able to get better in terms of their playing?
So I'd say the same thing I said with drums. Before you start learning runs, learn groove. So for drums it was chops, for bass it would be runs. Hizo ni runs. Utarealize before Moise amechapa run, amecheza groove like 8-10 bars. Same goes for Muziq, same goes for Nick, unless they're shooting content. When they would run the whole song, but at a live setup, unaweza like I'd say like get to know techniques. Like I said, as a bassist, technique is very important. Because ukichezea 7 mwisho wa fretboard ita sound ka country. Ukichezea country ndani ya fretboard sound ka reggae. Na unacheza tu the same nini, but place unacheza, place una pick from. Ukipick unajua unaona kucheza 7 hivi, which is very okay. I mean bora sound inatoka. But 7 for me napenda kucheza okay, na hii inakuwa tu for show, but nachezanga hivi. Kuna hiyo kick learn hizo technique inakuwa so much easier kujel na mse anajua, because I don't want to believe anyone wants to learn music just for church. You want to be at a professional setup, maybe a gig one day, live recording,
do your own thing even.
Exactly. If you learn it specifically, that's what the problem. Now people are learning to play somewhere
specifically,
which is how I started, but I'd want them to change their perspective to why will this take me one day? For instance, guys in school studying math and geography and chemistry, and particularly they're doing it for KCSE. But there's someone in that class who's saying one day I'll be Job. This is Ben Carson, and I'll operate on someone. And they're doing it because they want to get there. That's the end goal. And if that's your end goal, really you'll take it seriously, and you want to know all these things, not just for KCSE. So learn bass, learn all these things with the mind of I'd want one day to be on the stage with Laktari or Legrande or these guys, you know, this cream de la cream guys, and they just want technique really. They just want someone who will play and he sound kama your genre. Fingering, no, let each Moise says, I'll quote him a lot because he's like my favorite bassist. let each finger cover a fret. Let's like funika like string like this. Play the major scale do re mi fa sol la ti do at different tempos, like I said, 60, 100, up until you feel you can play on this thing. Up and you get. Then for a beginner, I'd advise them to learn the pentatonic scale. It's the easiest one to run on. It's just the pentatonic scale, for those that don't know, is the major scale. You remove 4 and 7, so it's 1, 2, 5, 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 1. If you know how to use the major scale and pentatonic scale, that alone, without adding modes, Lydian, Mixolydian, Aeolian, all those things, just by learning pentatonic scale and the major scale and knowing how to play them on tempo and without like playing miss notes, you can play any live recording on the planet, because they like most music is arranged from pentatonic and major scale. And then finally, know your fretboard. If this is a G, I'd want to know where the next G is, where the next G is, where the next G is. So that when you're playing a run, I realize, even by myself, when I'm running, I end up playing the shape because I know the shape, but I don't know where the note I'm landing is on. I'm supposed to land on 4, I'll land on 6. And then I'll start looking for the other 4. It sounds disrupted.
Yeah, true.
Mtu kama Moise, rather, okay, I've quoted Moise a lot. There's a guy called Asha, plays at Request. Asha will play the note from 1 to 1 and he'll land on the note of that part of the song. So like, oh glory, there's a bassist I played with Toda Fest by Milio Ithaka last month. It's called Asha. So play It Is Finished. Oh glory to 4. Nugget. I hear the 6, then 5. Glory to 4 on a different place, like analand 2 hapo. So utapata hadi it goes down even to notes, knowing how many notes are in this run, knowing like there's a lot that goes to it, but it also begins with knowing your fretboard. This is an open 6, that's a B, meaning I'm on what key? I'm on D. If I play an open E string, meaning I'm on G, because that's a 6, or like that's the 2 of another key, that the 2 of a D. Know your fretboard to the point where you see, I like what Mark does. Mark the bassist. He'll play a run uko juu and then he'll play an open string. You're wondering what? Because like ideally you'd play an open string if you're playing from uko, but he's playing uko and you hear an open string and you're like, wow. Because he's studied the fretboard to the point where he can even play a really super fast run. He's looking at the camera like this and you're hearing 1,000,001 notes going on, because I'm a studio fretboard to the point where he's like, okay, I can even play this in my sleep. And you'll hear so many things going on. So we study the fretboard, know where the notes are, or at least if you don't know where they are, at least know when I finish this run, I'm going to land on this note. Or when I'm playing this run, I'm playing this number of notes. So that ikifika hapo, usijikute the song inaanzia on 1, you're on 7. The song is starting on 3, you're at 5 or another. And then finally, technique, like I said, very important. If you play it the right way, you don't have to add so many things. That alone is enough. Because some of the time, the musician doesn't want pomp things. They just want someone who will play this the right way. All those things. So like for studio setup, I think hizi vitu mingi zinakuanga za gig. Like tuseme ka festival. Put yourself in the mind of someone who wants to record in a studio. Haizi taka ucheze vitu mingi. Hiyo ni ngoma yake. Nataka kucheza, nataka kuimba wewe ni wa ajabu so like just do that. Hizo ni zinitwa ghost notes. Just play that the whole song, maybe one run. Like you bounce, like give the song vibe, bounce with it, smile probably, nod your head, like show us guys where like you're feeling the music.
True.
And then just even the bare minimum, but that involves technique and all those things, knowing your fretboard, playing your note the note you're supposed to play. And basically
similarly, does that also apply for the acoustic? Yeah.
Oh no, well,
for the acoustic is a bit different.
this and lead guitar are a bit different, but I'd want to say for acoustic, fingering, because do you realize Gabriel Chama? He's in every live recording because he does something most guitarists don't do. Gabriel has learned to cover the niche of playing chord like fingering, like he'll play really simple chords but with so much like fingerings you're like, I need this in my worship set. Mchezea kila mtu, like every live recording you'll find being played, you'll find Gabu. Why? He ame master yo art yako nini. So for this one you just need like learning chords because iko na vitu mingi pia. Unasikia vile pia iko na drop 2, iko na nini, it has the same thing. I can't talk much about acoustic because hii ni instrument ya kubamba mrembo. Well, ambaye hayuko of course. But I tend to think for me acoustic is more of a leisure thing. Yeah, it's more of a leisure thing than I wouldn't gig professionally with an acoustic guitar because of endurance pia. I tend to think if you're learning an instrument, angalia duration time yake. Nika futa. Huwezi cheza futa na una gas. Hizi vitu pia zinahitaji gas.
Yeah, true.
Juu ukitaka kucheza kitu ka recording inakwanga 6 hours ama 4 hours. Utacheza hiyo guitar, utoke veins, upigwe blister, but you have to play. Yes. So for me hii ni kazi mingi because already nishazoea base. So nikicheza hii kitu na feeling
ina kunini vidole and stuff
and all those things.
Okay. And now to you as a pianist, first what is the first key you learned in a piano?
C. Mi sikuanzia F sharp.
What F sharp walofanyia nini?
F sharp. My dad is a producer. Alisema nikijaribu kukuona tunakosana. So cause like ningeanza F sharp na feel ningekuwa bad. Like kuna wasio wakianza F sharp wanafikanga mahali wanakuama. Wanafikanga mahali tu wana like nikaki you hit a wall. So mimi nilianzia C.
So how after learning C is when you decided to modulate to the other keys now?
To translate
everything to that. How has it been? How has been experience been as a pianist so far? It's
the instrument I like least. Well, okay.
And you play best.
after venturing into arrangements like an MD, then you realize there's a lot that goes into keyboard.
Yeah.
Sasa hapo, I'd say the same thing. Technique and fingering. One of the things I love most about this friend of mine called Wema, speed ya mkono ni speed ya mkono.
Ziko sawa.
Ziko the same. Another guy is called Blessing. He'll play like run kali hapa na unasikia inacheza rangi inacheza chord alafu ameswitch inacheza chord inacheza run like nimsay invest time into kutizi fingering to the point where inakuwa
kitu ka natural.
It's just so natural.
Akisikia tu kitu akishagusa ashajua this I'm expecting this.
Ukianza vizuri ni kama mtu ukimwonyesha kitu vizuri like the first time ku grow up nayo. I wish I was told this the very first time because utapata msana shika chord hivi like hizi vidole mbili zikusanya shika chord hivi you what chord is this? Hii ni kama kushika ngumu. Hii ni ngumu baby. Hii ni ngumu. So like chord nafaa like know the chord the right way. Unapata msana anacheza hivi unafaa kutumia vidole zote. Sina single keyboard. Ukicheza hivi unafika hapo una feel kuna place kuna kuama. Hadi hapa this place una feelingi junikianza run hivi utapata nimeanza run na hii kidole ndo nisi if the run is long utaanza na hii kidole ndo nisifikie mahali ni kuame. But if you're starting right now just learn fingering the right way, just take your time, play do re mi fa sol la ti do as many times as possible with the right fingering. Hii inaenda pamoja this and this like just practice fingering. You realize after like a year or even 6 months really you're going to play more fluently, more clearly because you even realize when your fingering is right you don't have to look at the keyboard when you're playing because you know this finger lands on 3, this finger goes to, it's like playing a saxophone. Amor would say Amor anakuangalia hivi, unajua angaliangi saxophone anakuangalianga msewa kamera ama anaangalia sheet music. It's the same thing. Ukijua hii kidole itaguza 3, kidole itaguza 6, kidole itaguza 7. Hadi ukirun hizo chromatic movements and all, you just know where, like even without looking, your fingers are going to land where. For me, I can play drums while closing my... You can blindfold me and I will play drums the whole time. Because I know this hand will touch a rack tom, it will touch a floor tom, crash iko hapa. Easy, the whole time. If you notice, in the videos I'm playing, I'm looking at the camera, or I'm throwing my sticks or somewhere, or because I know ndashika stick at this point, ndacheza at this point, because same thing with piano. But so you learn... I think there's a lot that goes into playing piano. The inversions, their scales, their runs, there are modes, there are... See, like, kuna major scale, minor scale. Your minor scale ikona minor, ikona harmonic, na like melodic. There are like 12 different things on 12 different scales, keys. So like 144 concepts you have to learn all at a go. But if you learn the right fingering, like at the very first time, learning the rest of the things will be so easy. Because you know, because like kituka Phrygian scale, ni major scale, iko na flat third, na flat 7. So already unajua flat third ni 3. Like sasa whatever is supposed to touch 3, you just flatten it. Already you have the fingering. You just learn the scale, the mode, and you already playing it. Nika cheat code, yenye kila mtu anajua. So people wataanza kuplay piano and they're already playing pentatonic. Na vidole mbili. Hiyo ni F sharp. Translate it to a key like B flat with only 2 black keys. How will you play like this? So you have to descend and ascend. Translate it to a key like E flat. You have mixed up keys. You see, like if you learn fingerings the right way, getting to translate knowledge from one key to another is even easier. So I think for me, before learning my blues and all these other things, because I can't really speak about them, which is a bare minimum. If anything, when I'm playing piano, I prefer to aux. I love fancy voices. I love brass. I love synth. I love marimba. I love anything but the piano. Probably because Wema plays like so many chords that ago, I felt depressed. Like, nah, Mia, I'm so done with Kizwan. Baby, I'm so done with Kizwan. But I'd give you a really nice synth line. I'd give you a nice brass. I'd give you... Because I also like what Blessing does. Plus, napenda ma keyboard mingi. Like you see how an aux pianist would have like keyboards all over. I like that. I like that. So the best thing I'd tell someone who's learning keyboard, whether aux, whether keys one, invest in fingering, invest in technique. There's a way you can play keyboard hutachoka, because keyboard is a touch instrument. Wasi ucheza hivi. Touch the keyboard. Finesse. It's more of a finesse thing.
Oh, amazing. So I want us to move to the next bit, which is about music directing. I believe you've participated in some of the music directing, and maybe the first question will be, what are those things you consider in your team for you to form a team? Maybe, for example, I've said, hey, JR, niaje fanya hivi, kuna hii projects 1, 2, 3, 4. I want you to maybe get a team of members who are able to execute this vision. What are those things that you consider to look into these people that you choose to form now the band?
I'd want to say how quickly we can execute something. How like fast are you with how quick are you with getting ideas? Rather, how creative are you? Okay, ideally I'd go for people I've worked with before, or people I've been observing. Kuna wase wana sticking to script to the point vitu kwa ground ikichange ana panic. Personally mseka huyo siwezi jiona nikiwa naye, because most of the guys utapata tu ni wase wa kuchange set kitu wana change content mid set. I'd give an example. I'm the MD for the missions team ya K Crew. So when Sly tells me to get a team that knows the K Crew repertoire, she'd always vouch for guys that know not that I can't bring in someone else who plays well, but she'd always vouch for someone who knows the K Crew repertoire, because it's easy. If she chooses something within that, you're able to execute it in a way that it doesn't sound you hadn't practiced. Because there are times we go and minister, we're given like 20 minutes, and then the host says, ongezeni another 10 minutes, and you have to start adding songs.
Yeah, true.
All those things. So, I personally, I'd always go for my brother. I like working with Jack personally, because he's also an MD in his own way, and he executes my ideas in a way that I wouldn't have thought about. When I'm looking for a Kizwana, do let's go for Wema, because he is. And as a song 2 minutes, the song is like 10 minutes long, but ashashika the whole thing, and he's already adding his own turnarounds and all those things. For a bassist, I like the guy I played the flare with. He's called Davey. Another guy called Lamo. He's in K Crew as well. I have a variety of bassists, but I'd always call Davey first, because like to sync na is very. So even when I'm playing another instrument, I can name him. For a guitarist, I'd go for Toet, or Toet is a K Crew guitarist, or Baraka, another guy called Blessol. Play with him at Gen Z Loves Jesus. Because like these guys, I've seen them play, and I've seen how they take in ideas and how they make them come to life, and that makes me happy. Because for me, I'd want to say, like, when you're playing this, someone would be like, okay, this song was played, like, say, bare minimum. But I'd want to play a song and someone was like, wow, this song was played by Loco. Which is why I like to play keys too, because I'm not really creative with chords. But like I said, like bass, I'm very creative with melodies. I'd be playing something, and then this melody will come to my head, and I'll play it with probably a synth or a string or a bell or pad. And for me, that gives me my sound. Because I also write songs and I arrange them, and I'd get someone to sing. So I'd get a team and I'd be like, this is the idea I have, help me execute it. And we record, and I feel nice. When you're working with other artists who are open to ideas, of course, because there are some that are like, no, it has to sound like this, and that's what I want. But for a team, really, it's just people that mnaelewana. Because when I'm saying Wema, si lazima tuongee. I just look at him and he look at me and like, okay, cool. And then whatever is about to come after that, only God knows. Really, which is why I think my favorite all-time band would be Icons. Me at this Steve looking at Nick looks at JCL, and then whatever is coming after that, and I'm like, guys, get ready. I saw these guys do Love Nairobi Festival last year, but one. Love Nairobi was last year. Yo, I was like, guy, what's this? Steve Wajongea, he just looked at the guys, and the guys are like, okay, got you, sir. And they take the flight, and the flight takes off. Not like Aviator, but it goes. The flight goes, man. Inaenda. Because the guys already have this chemistry. And so Steve was an MD would be like, for me to do this, I'd probably get the same guys next time. So as an MD, you look for people that would execute ideas. And then sasa kuna wasee mkitizi hivi, siku ya gig, you add, like, sasa mkomesema chorus twice, verse twice. Mwimbaji ongeze chorus, ata panic because alikuwa amestructure everything
as it.
You see, such a guy, such a guy is good for, like, say, a studio recording because inakwanga na beats, but for a spontaneous set na ndo zinakwanga mingi. I wouldn't go for such a person. I'd go for someone who is crazy, someone who would get new melodies, get, creative people, like people that are open to taking in arrangements on like on the ground there on the spot.
Because I believe even some of the live recordings, you go there, you had planned everything, then you get there something inagusa tu hiyo msanii anaamua tu aongeze kitu yenye hata mko hata amepiga hata mko amediscuss, usikira ameka maranza zake ama ameingisha kitu kingine, and you still have to be adaptable immediately. Hata mtu asiyafai ku realize like hii kuwa part of the practice. Amazing. What are the things that you do to gel with bandits? Let's say, for example, aside from the music playing, vitu gani hizo mnafanyanga? Either mnaenda kwa some of the things I had some previous guests saying wanakula pamoja tu, wana break the
monotony.
Ku break tu ile monotony, na pia ku break hiyo unani.
I think eating. I think food. You can't be silent around food. You can't. I think for me, because I play with guys around my age. Okay, not my age. I'm a bit young. So like, okay, not far from my age.
True.
Ni mabanta. Nitakuchongoa kwa MD mic, utanichongoa, like you connect like boys. Okay, I wouldn't say people because I haven't knocked with a lot of ladies. But you just connect like guys. You ice break during introductions. We share interesting stories, and you get to understand someone better.
Yeah, true.
We like using football teams because there's always something to fight about.
Any team.
Yeah, so like we use that, and then by the way, if you touch something someone loves, you'll just get them talking.
True.
Really, and then you get to understand the person better.
Yeah, true.
And you'll get to know how to communicate with them, because there are people that don't like being shouted at. There are people that like loud voices. There are people that like numbers. There are people that like notes. Instead of saying 1, 2, 3, you say C, D, E. There are people that you get to know people when they talk.
Yeah,
you just get them to talk about something they love, and through that I get to understand the kind of person you are. And
so basically it breaks down to their personalities, this kind of person kama ni kuongelesha kitu bado huyu hapendi kuongelesha mbele ya watu, lazima nimwite kando
atakujibisha, so lazima umwenda naye kando. Kuna mwingine lazima anapenda correction hivyo, so like because at the end of the day, much as amechoma ni endo wako, you can't get someone to play like you sema metizika 2 months endo wako, so you have to find a way to accommodate whatever it is they are doing or they are, and you move forward.
With the different skill sets that you might have a guitarist and everybody I believe their skill set is quite unique and different. How do you balance now the point, because a director, basically the music you arrange, or basically you give direction to the whole bit of the music, but how do you balance now between being a director and also the versatility of the team players now, that their considerations are also in point in terms of building this product that you're building, but also at the same time the director who also wants to ensure that despite we are giving too much contributions, but you're also not overlaying too much contributions on the playing, so ionekane umsei contribution amesema ni yake peke yake, anataka ngare hiyo period alafu atoke.
But you just said it. It's just striking a balance. I want to go back to Afleo 2024 where I was MDing on drums. That's just wild.
It's crazy.
You have to keep raising your head or raising your stick or something. But it boils down to getting people that actually want to work with you. Which is why people play with their friends. Relationship outside your musical instrument. When I'm MDing, I like first giving what I thought of, and then once we're able to execute it, is there anyone else with anything they want to add? Yes, I was thinking, okay, what's this? Should we try? We try it. If it doesn't work, even if my idea doesn't work, like Loco, we think this is okay to try. Because at the end of the day, we're a team, really. True. You see, you can't say your left leg is hurting, you still need it to work.
Yeah, true.
So you find a way to bring your idea in a way that it doesn't seem yours alone. So for me, I'd come up with a half-cooked idea. I'd have the whole idea, yes, but I'd say, okay, niache hapa, nione what they'd add to it. And really, at the end of the day, you're like, wow, I didn't know it could sound like this. Then again, you're not supposed to arrange where you feel like you guys own the music, because the arrangements are supposed to beautify what the person singing is doing. Because like without the person singing, your music is just like vibes and inshallah.
Yeah, true.
Especially for a church music setup. So you, like when you're MDing, you consider whatever I'm playing, it a clash na singers. Will they feel this is too much? Or will they feel unaimba, tuseme umearrange, the singers are singing a 4, your arrangement is going to a flat 7. Automatically that doesn't work because it a collide na kitu anaimba.
Yeah, true.
So when you're MDing, you consider a lot of things. You don't add things that are outside the time signature, or even if they're outside the time signature, how do they come back? Higher. The other thing, how is the congregation taking it, this music? Do you know why Kestin's music will just fly? It's mainstream. Kestin, Boaz, he's one of my favorite all-time MDs. Boaz, I like something Boaz does. I learned most of my MDing from Boaz. And Fadhili from my church, but Fadhili learned from Boaz. Boaz anaekanga me like TikTok sounds kwa FL, kwa Ableton. Ukichoma, wewe ni fala. Unasikia tu kitu, you're like, what just happened? Amukicheza kitu fiti, unasikia zoea hiyo sauti. So he'll just press something and you're hearing, utakufa vibaya. So he doesn't have to tell you umechoma.
Yeah, true.
You're like ni majabu. I like Maggie. He's really fun. So he says Boaz has very like unaona skill ya Boaz ni bedhe ni a lot. Boaz can play all the chords on the planet, but Kestin says play one. Boaz will play a one triad. C E G 1. Play 4. F A C 4. Like cause Kestin's music is mainstream. It's to the people. You see hata range kama Yellow Jackets. Anatoka kwa time irudi. Kestin won't sing to that. She'll be like, okay, maliza sasa niimbe. Naget. So una arrange pia hii music inachukuliwa na nani? Is it particularly for musicians? Is it for for these guys? So when you're arranging, you consider a lot, you have a lot of things in mind. Because kuna music itatoka, wewe kama msanii utaisikiza, you're like, oh my god, but the thing has 1000 views. Haya, nimedungwa sindano, that thing has 11 million views. Why? Because people like it. People enjoy it.
Yeah, true.
So one thing Boaz taught me, melody. It's in the whole song. So every time you hear it, you're like, wow, I like this. It makes me happy.
Vibing, yeah.
You just want to connect with God because it's a melody. It's there throughout the whole song. Like it's, you see Kestin songs are so melody, melody. Nini, so hadi ukisikia you're like, I want to listen, because people don't remember. Sometimes don't say kama mimi nasikiza song mara 15 sijui words. Najua tu kale kitu kana play.
Hata ikichezeshwa sasa yuko like hiyo wimbo naijua.
Yeah, but sasa sijui words, but najua kuna kitu iko hapo ndani. It's what made Masika's songs back then. Nikufahamu hiyo sinia Masika. Pepepe hiyo synth inakuanga hapo. Nifanane nawe ile synth. Inaendanga aje? Kuna synth. Nifanane nawe Yesu niwe jinsi upe. Kuna synth inakuanga pale kwa intro. Hiyo pekee ndo najua hadi sijui lyrics, but juu nilisikia ile kitu ndo itanivuta mara ya kwanza. This is why probably I like Seben. Nikisikia hiyo gitaa I'm like ni Michelle. Nikisikia uni Koffi Olomide, nikisikia uni Glow alicheza hii, uni JR alicheza hii, uni so melody is what if anyone else like out there is like me, I listen more to melody than anything else in the song. So as an MD, I like to draw most of my arrangements from repetitive sounds. Sounds that you'd listen to and you're like, this was in this song. So yes, this was done by Nini. And I push that to my people. It's good to have runs and many things, but
it dilutes the real thing that you're supposed
pia msanii asifunikwe mfinika msanii aliwaleta ni nyinyi mleta msanii.
True.
And then unaangalia place unapeleka muziki. Siwezi weka arrangement iko na mode kata tu iko na mixolydia nini na naenda okay staki could mean church, but just for the sake like tusenda ka place ka full gospel. Siwezi I can, but the guys will be like
setting una overdo sana
what what wapeleke nitaifanya they will dance, they will jump because that's the music they accept. True. And aroa kuimbe hivyo. Those guys like to hear every sort of, so you arrange according to where you're taking your music. Exactly.
The type of music that you
the people you're looking to take the music to, the people you're working with, because you can't give an arrangement na tempo ya 120 and your drummer plays at 70 BPM, the fastest he can go. So you just put all that into consideration. Sometimes you have to not put an arrangement. Sometimes you have to like remove something, even if it sounds so good to you. Anaweza kuwa namba kitu in the spirit, because I'm talking about church music at the moment. You're like, I wanted this, but unfortunately I don't have. Even as a vocal MD, there are melodies inside your head and you're like, harmony to kiaka italia, but you're like, no, for the sake of this project, for the sake of this congregation, for the sake of this part, we choose to leave it out. And I think that maturity is what makes a good MD, knowing when to veto the decision and be like, we have to do this, and then knowing when to, okay, everyone says it's not good and I think it's nice, so I will not put it there.
Having the balance.
And like striking a balance, even because MDing also involves being strict to you. Like, you see, now me, I'm working with most of my friends. Imagine being strict to someone you eat smocha with, telling someone umechoma, you're late, and you have to portray that picture so that the person working with you doesn't feel like my MD is
biased,
is nimse raisi anapenda. What they like seeing an MD who takes charge. So you have to really strike up, and it involves living with people, knowing how to live with people, knowing how to talk to people, even when you're frustrated. Because me neza tuma arrangement kwa group ukuje kwa ujasikiza, neza kurushia kiatu haki. Because me ninacheza kitu, I'm expecting you listened, and then you hata the beat, and then look at you, you're clueless. Nikisimamisha loop track hivi, whatever I've said in my head, if I tell you, you're like, Kai, is Loco born again? But I have to be like, okay, did you listen? Okay. Now you start pigaing, do I just tell this guy to leave? Or but then because grace was extended to me when I didn't know.
Yeah, true.
Okay, this is how it goes. Just at the next practice ukikuja kao juu sasa tunakosana, of course. But like it just goes like that. Extending grace because you can't expect someone to be at your level. Yeah, you extend grace even to singers. Unacheza intro kali wanaingia off key ama off beat.
True.
Biko na tension rushia mtu stick. Nilijikuta tu nimeirusha. It was like, yo, what was that? And it's like the fourth time they've done that. So I'm like, Kai, what is hard about this? It's literally bam, start. Alafu unapatana. But then I realized it's just extending grace because even to them they're like, this is so much going on. Where do I come in? And probably they don't know. So it's extending grace, going to practice with a lot of patience, and like knowing your team, knowing how to talk to them, knowing how to accept, even for you accepting correction as an MD. And just like above all being that balance when the vocalists are like being too much on the band, pushing them back, like putting people on their lanes in a way that you don't feel nimekukwaza. And even because me, like when I'm playing, I don't tell my guys, okay, we're going into Markwood. If I say something that I didn't intend to say, please come and tell me after practice, and I will apologize. Probably even buy you tea afterwards. No, si feeling kama I'm against you, and like
usichukue personally.
Wende
jioni unikaso.
Maze wende waambie God umse apigwe na radi ama apigwe na train. Akujiwe na nini and all those things. So it's extending grace and being very present, knowing that sometimes the things you have in your head aren't what people
really looking into.
Sometimes like you just need to chill, sometimes you need to hype, sometimes you go all out, sometimes you just choose to play the bare minimum. And really
amazing. What has been your best highlight as a director? Ile maybe an event or anything that you felt wow, this has been impactful
to be ziko kadhaa. Let me see. There's a time at Cake Remission, I was a music director to Dante Chops. It was the first time I played with Dante. I'm his director. I was like, yo, guys, miss go ashika your day. And then I liked working with Dante because he will execute it. He's like Jack at execute in real time. But I think for me it has to be Parklands Baptist because it's been one of the dream churches. I wish I brought it. Tik Kanza, like, because I've always wanted, and then I'm playing in the place of like keyboard Gavi ucheza. So I'm there like I literally feel like Gavi because I have like 2-3 keyboards there. I'm running the loop tracks, and then I have this battalion of really nice instrumentalists and singers who are counting on you to do stuff. And at the end of the day, the guy saying will be like, guys, let's appreciate our MD, and you feel really nice because you're like true. The set didn't go badly. And you are prepared, and it's really nice.
A lot of effort to put in. Worst case scenarios that has happened to you, maybe not only as a director, but maybe even in terms of playing, because there are some labda umefanya kila kitu vizuri afu unafika hii ni gani tena.
I think for me, unaona vile mimi usimama nikicheza drums. Sasa nilisimama kiti ikaanguka. Yo.
Nadhani hakuna mtu.
I think one of the singers so before niambia kuna kiti. Nilikuwa naanza kudescend. Lele kabisa. I went. it was content for like a week. Karibu niende Church of Loves. I thank God that video kupatikana. I was like, yo, ilo comment wapi? Cuz like hapo nilikuwa stage ilikuwa juu. So I went all the way down.
Ama rapture imefanyika.
Guys, wait, no. But it looked like a magic trick. Cuz if you looking cuz stage iko juu, so like one moment the drama is there and the moment guys no comment. So it was like the end of the song. So like so I mean anza kuinuka from the bottom of the stage. There he is. It's really funny, yeah, man, because like I think ama unacheza intro mwimbaji anaingia off alafu anakuangalia vibaya so like karibu unacheza uko off or unacheza kinje ya stem. I think another one would be you see ndasema I can't really pinpoint the place exactly. I remember this set we played this really beautiful intro and then the singer lingia a key a whole tone below. Wow. Sasa thinking the vocalist cause alikuwa na cue vocalist wakaingia na key yake na ilikuwa live. Unajua niliambia wase watu footage ya given us the MD for that set. Never do any footage ya band. I'm seeing to mention like mbakisha tu camera whatever footage you have of the band just like bakisha ni camera hapa katikati cause the band ilikuwa huko. So like ilibaki tu pale cause like why would you do that? Why? But like again you extend grace because things happen. So like ndo sasa ili kitu ilitokea. I think Master Keys ndo alianza. Mbona ushone uniform mpige tizi ya 3 months alafu wimbe off key?
Doesn't make any sense.
Why would you do that? So I think those have to be hiyo ya kuanguka ndio probably like one of my worst ones because like kai hii sasa ni nini? I think your day nilisimama ni with a crash. Because nilimwambia nitasimama ni mwevie because ideally practice nilikuwa nitasimama so like you come I'll wave. Showmanship ended up to be have to be something else. Maze kilinramba. But ideally I think it's these things that nilikuwa na flip stick. I do stick tricks a lot when I'm playing. So I'm flipping my stick and then it leaves my hand. Napiga worship leader. So like he's there wondering
what's the problem.
Yeah, it was the live stream. I was like kama ilitokea nilitoka out of the frame ikampiga alafu ikarudi so ilikuwa na kaboomerang kuzilimgonga shoulder alafu ikarudi sasa ni kama excuse me I have come to tell you something alafu ikarudi. It was so funny. I was at Kiambu Road. By that time I was just experimenting. Like I'm learning something enough and experiment. Nikarusha sting sasa badala ya kurusha juu nikarusha hivi. Ilienda ikamgonga ikarudi, ikaanguka hapa. So like nikaenda kuona frame. I wish you'd see it. Like in slow-mo it looks like it came ikamwambia kitu. Ikamtap alafu ikarudi. So I was like, guys, what's this I've done? It wasn't a big thingy. Another one una flip stick before ucheze chop and then the stick leaves your hand. What are you supposed to do? You chop with one hand. Of course it will sound off, but true. For me, okay, for them it looks like show off. Where's this guy playing chop with one hand? But for me, the MD is like, loco, if you don't pick up that stick and come back on time, I will slaughter you. But anyway, it's you learn from these things. True. You learn the times you don't need to show off. Because most of the times mimi nime mess up, it's because I was trying to show off. Yeah.
So you've learned the hard way. Yeah, okay. So you as a songwriter and maybe a music arranger. So I believe you, as we were speaking, you write songs, right? So far, which year did you start songwriting?
High school. 2021. 21.
So you've written quite a couple of songs.
Of course, back then zilikuwa za kubamba madem because like ningeenda funky nikuulize jina yako. And then uniambie nianze kuspit lyrics there and then with your name. Like in a rhyme and all those things. But of course, yeah.
As for now?
Asa niliacha because like niliventure into more of arranging music than writing it. But I've written like this one worship song. But sasa hiyo nangoja na nataka kuinvest, taki kuifanya tu kima. So I'll invest, I get a band, I get a studio, and then we record. Amazing. Niachilie ka IP something.
Amazing. So you as a music, how many years in the music arranging space?
Just one. But like I've had a lot to work with, because I've worked with, I'm currently working with, I won't say Cream de la Cream. You see these things you hear kina Mo is playing, mina kuanga wakizipanga. Sasa nabambikanga niyo language yao. Sheri sijui wanaitananga sheri. Wanaongea hapo Kikongo, wanachapa, so you're like there, you're wondering, okay, what's going on here? And then at the end of you hear ki product, you're like, oh my god, what's this? Haya loko tunaenda hivi, this is Mo is talking, tunaenda hivi, haya cheza hiki, hapana utoe. So you're there like, oh wow, kunaendanga hivi kumbe, all those things. So you get to learn hapo kwa ground ni hivi kunaenda. Na mimi ni very adaptive quickly. I worked with Mutethia before. So look, this is what happens, yeah? We're playing a 4 and then you play the cymbals and then you roll and then we go to a 6 and then the intro starts there. So unaget ku understand ali approach kitu from where. And you see, even being part of a live recording, you get to learn a song from scratch. You build it note by note, melody by melody. So you get to understand. Na si song like live recording ya mtu mdogo. Hakuna mtu mdogo per se, but like Cream de la Cream, yeah? You're like, okay, this is what happens. This is how these people arrange their music. And really, sasa, like if you're keen enough, it just boils down to you. Like as the last piece, because I wouldn't be expected to contribute at such, because I'm just there to compliment, but ideally I'm also learning a lot.
Yeah. Do you collaborate with other musicians in your music arrangements?
I do. Like I love it, because the arrangements I like to be particularly mine, because nimezipanga from A to Z kwa kichwa yangu. And the other I just have the beginning and ideally solution inakwanga tu hapo kwa room. Or like for arrangements, I can just be playing something and then the bassist will hear it and then it'll be like, look what we've just done. Nicheze, and then I was thinking I could add this. Then the guitarist, oh wait, then I can also add this. Then ikisha rudi ni a whole arrangement.
Ishakuwa full pack. Amazing. And maybe what are the things that you do to just stay updated with the trends and the technologies in music arrangement? And maybe what are the tools that you use?
I think for me it's Instagram na YouTube. Instagram na YouTube. Because I follow these guys. Akipost kitu nishaona. YouTube, I go to look for content. If I open my YouTube, if I open my YouTube right now, you'll see a lot of Kalin Makala. Kalin Makala is Israel Houghton's drummer, New Breed. Lord, you are good and your mercy. That guy, drummer wake. He has this online drum school. So I follow it a lot. And he'll break down these complicated things he plays during their tours. And I learn from that. I follow live tracks, Ilya Nikera. So when he's doing these things on Ableton, I'm able to follow how to put stems, how to record stems, all those things. For keyboard, I still follow Easy Piano or Easy Worship.
Easy Worship.
It's in Kitambo. They are still posting, by the way. More updated content. I still follow Moise, Basinza. I never stop, because they're also growing. They never stop. That's what I like about them. And so we like, because I still think I have a lot of time to get to my peak self. So I just keep following Instagram, because like my FYP is just filled with music. It's just there. Utaona tu video ya kwanza ni Moise akisema niko na video mpya YouTube, this is what I'm doing. Or Kalin Makala breaking down something. Or Dante amepost cover. So I'm just there watching. Sometimes even by learning, I just look at the video and I'm like, wait, I can do this. Like chop ya kwanza ya Lion of Judah. I can tell you what Dante played. He played da 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 da. You know what that is? That's my favorite rudiment. Para diddle diddle, right? So he put the accents on the kick. So like it's right left, yeah. Da 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 da. So right. So he just did para diddle diddle 4 times and put the kick accents on the right hand. So it's da 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 da, and then finished with a linear chop. Kick right left akamaliza. immediately nimeisikia nishajui ni nini because I've been conversant with the content he's been posting.
Yeah. Wow, amazing. What are the tools that you use maybe for your loop arrangements? I believe as an MD you always have to make stems or loops, and what tools do you use?
Unlike most people that like Ableton, mini old time anapenda FL. I'm more conversant with the FL interface than Ableton. So naweza unda FL alafu hiyo file nita transfer to Ableton. Sasa well, for stems I prefer FL because FL naweza track keyboard kwa laptop. Like you can play you so na track hapo alafu na transfer your stem to Ableton, sasa naunda loop alafu zinafuatana.
Quite amazing. Aside now from music, maybe what are those activities that you do aside from music? Let's say now today local, there is no more music in Kenya. We've locked everything.
Wow.
Tumefunga gita zote na kila kitu, hakuna muziki inaendelea in Kenya. What will local be doing?
Programming. Like as a career, like I said, I'm doing music. I'm doing like I love computers. But for leisure, I am a movies person. And as on a series from sunrise to sunset. I like fiction, movies in the old time setting. You know, people that say Lord, kill the brain board and those guys. Yeah. Lady. I think I'm interested in chivalry. You know, guys, knights, dragons, fire, magic. Outdoor activity, I think I'm an indoor kind of a person because I'm actually a really good cook. Chef, naweza kupikia ukule uvimbiwe. Really, maze napenda kupika.
Amazing.
I like traveling. I like seeing the world or the country, depending on the name. I like seeing new places. I like sampling restaurants. I like I think most of the things I'm saying ni vitu za indoors. Because bado gaming unaweza fanyia indoors. I'm not really a sports person.
Okay.
Is there an outdoor activity I can pinpoint? Maybe driving, which is really something you do inside a car. But like I also like driving. Yeah, I think that's. I'm not really like I'm a team building, you know, groups. Because like I said, I have a very small circle of people that I hang out with. And the same people like doing stuff indoors. So I just find myself drawn to being indoors. But I tend to think I'm more of what the people around me are. I'm not a fan of swimming, unfortunately. Maybe bike riding, but still, you'd have to really talk me into it. Like, given the opportunity, I'm a very lazy person. Neza amka hivi kwa bed nikae tu doing nothing. I'm just on my bed. Nimechill. Like 3 hours. Ndio sasa nitoke kwa bed. So like I like being free of care. Because most of the time I'm up, I have to leave the house, I have a practice session. Nitoke hapo niende class, nisome sijui HTML, nitoke nirudi town. So like when I have the time to chill, I like chilling as much as like for you to get me to leave the house. It either has to be practice, a gig. I like relationships zili nachananga nazo. So I am just I like being drawn. I like napenda tu time yangu. Naweza chill kwa nyumba peke yangu. I like my time kucheza game, kuka like you know just being alone with myself is something that excites me. Yeah.
Wow, indeed amazing. So even as we close out, what is that one phrase or one word or one encounter that keeps you going each and every day, just being the best at what you do, despite having the different level of talents that you have?
This is where I'd of course the best encounter is of course meeting Christ, because I tend to think it's one thing to be morally straight forward.
Yeah, true.
Even not being born again, but it's another thing to be born again and being morally straightforward.
Yeah.
Because I think being a born, you see, like, unlike other religions, which I'm not talking ill of,
Yeah.
Christianity is more about relationship.
Yeah.
it's more about personally knowing
True.
who God is. Because I play contemporary music. You'd find me playing I'd attend Gecko sessions. I'd even play, restaurants, like festivals. I love music. I love music in its entirety.
Yeah, true.
So you'd find someone asking, why would you play Blankets and Wine and still come to play in church? And that's where I'm saying Christianity is more about, it's a relationship. Who is God to you? And what does he stand for? For me, I like being an ambassador. Like a really good ambassador. And I think for me, that's what keeps me going. Because there's a lot of, I want to say fallacy, going around. OSG church musicians. I think this is a whole topic we should have started. Church musicians are going to clubs and dinners. And, there's a lot of judgment going around.
True.
But looking at this church musician, this guy probably does it for a living. It's actually what drew me to study computers. Because I don't want to do music for a living. When you say Fika Place, I'm so hurt by the church. Because I can't make a living.
Out of what
because you guys are saying, I'm in it for the money. Surely. Your pastor, you earn from it. You did theology. And that's what puts food on your table. So, like for you to get that good at theology, you spent some years in school. I was in school, probably the school of life, and we have different skills. So I tend to think if you didn't want me here, you would have played drums yourself, which has a keyboard, uimbishe, utoe sadaka, iyo ufanye peke yako, but you have a band, you have a team for a reason. So knowing God gives you that, it gives you a sense of focus. It gives you drive. It gives you where to draw the line. Because I don't think you can, unless you're employed by the church, and that requires you to be in church from Monday to Nini. But you see, you're a musician, you have projects, you have things to do. Not showing up drunk, being neat, even when you're going to these places, you're basically, this is why I said, in the world, and not of it. Being that, showing people that being a musician is not just about, ladies and drugs, because that's the picture people have.
True.
And it's bad because once you tell your mom, I'm dating a drummer, hey, she'd even slap the hell out of you. What are you doing with those noisemakers? People that nini. People have painted a very bad picture of musicians, and we ourselves are like propagating it. Because tell me why you'd show up to church drunk, you'd show up to a meeting in clothes that the very simple things, shower, brush, paka mafuta, wear clean clothes, look alive, so that when you say you're a musician, you're not thinking about the guy you saw at the club on Friday. You're thinking of, I can be a musician. You see, drive, invest in a business, do beyond it, so that people don't think that being a musician is just about that small circle of playing in church, getting to a church that pays you, and then it doesn't have to be about that.
True.
And you may deviate. I just sorry, but I just had to mention that. So that's basically what I think knowing Christ. Because it's not something I'm afraid of saying. I genuinely love my work, because my life has a lot. I mean, I'm literally just 20, but I have seen a lot. I was forced to grow up at a very young age because of pure home dynamics. And depression is real. Feeling as if suicide is an option is real.
True.
All these things. And the one thing that kept me from breaking is the fact that I can always pray and relieve all this. And I'll probably go to scripture and know that someone up there cares about me. So I also say this. There are times you practice, or you're really looking forward to, you set targets. Remember, I think time alone can either break or mend something. and you say by 24 I want to be driving, by 26 married, 27 2 kids and all those things, guys, life like me, I was saying by the time I'm 20 I'll be in Canada, and yeah guys, I'm here with Watumishi. But I'd say like manage your expectations,
true,
and never stop practicing, so that when the time comes for you to shine, you have the skill. Because it's one thing to have favor, because God will give you the platform, because you prayed about it and you've been very faithful. But what happens when you get it? Utachoma. Utaitwa tena. No, even if you get really good, people will always remember your first impression.
True.
So manage expectations as well, so that when you audition and fail, you know, wait, it wasn't my time. I'll come back again. You just keep practicing. You keep exposing yourself to music. You keep exposing yourself to scripture. You keep, you know, like generally everything. So by the time you're getting this one opportunity that will put you on the limelight, you do it so well. You're just like, finally, you just feel, you even feel proud of yourself. So like keep reaching out, keep knowing, like keep knowing more, keep wanting to grow. And eventually, I tend to think eventually, when you began this path, you like there was something that pushed you there. It will come to reveal itself. I'd ask this, because I know not everyone who's watching this is born again, but I pray for my craft. I really pray for it, because I know there are people that are excited by my craft, and there are people that genuinely don't want to see me holding sticks or a guitar. True. And being someone that believes in Christ, I know that there's like you see how God put a hedge of protection around Job before the enemy came to do all those things. But I know even out of all those things, eventually God will like do something even much bigger than what the enemy has taken. So I think that would be just like my nini. Don't stop practicing. Kai, don't stop. Wow, because the moment you stop, believe me, your breakthrough, kwanza that time you're feeling you want to stop, that's when you really need to keep pushing, because your breakthrough is literally steps away, hapo tu mbele. Imagine if you guys, I'm sure there was a bit of trouble acquiring this space. Imagine if you stopped before you acquired it. Okay, like imagine you decided to go back home because you think the shop is not open. Imagine you, like, you see, like, just think of all the things you've done with your life and imagine you hadn't done them.
True.
Think of how difficult it was before you got it, and then eventually you got it. I think that's, for me, that's the appreciation that life gives you, that you practiced, you done all these things, and then finally you sing the fruit.
Wow. Such an amazing conversation. I don't really even want to add any further. I just want to thank you, Loco, for coming through. It has been an awesome time to just get to listen to the nuggets. I believe everyone is learning every day, and there are such profound nuggets about the whole conversation. And I believe for even someone who is out there listening, you've heard the anchor is always on God at all times. He's the one who directs our path. Tunasema God akona marking scheme of our lives entirely. So despite how much we are putting too much work without in our different spaces, we also need to anchor ourselves in the God to be able to also give us direction, and His will always appears. I believe everyone has a season for life, for everything that happens under the sun or on earth, basically. So it's a matter of you positioning yourself even before those opportunities get to you. What are you doing to position yourself? Wow, such an amazing conversation. Until next time, adios.